Teachers of Reddit, what's the stupidest thing you've caught a student doing in your class? 9th grade girls ate pot brownies for the first time, freaked out in class, asked to go to the nurse, and cried that they needed to go to confession. Had a 6th grade student tell people to call him Jigglypuff. He regretted it after 2 hours, until he eventually left the school. I had a student, A, who copied part of another student's, B, lab report. The problem is that they shared the document in Google Docs and student B wrote in the text, in a freaking different color, something along the lines of, you should change this section of your analysis, because it's too similar to mine, and the teacher might notice. The 2 students then had 6 to 8 lines of dialogue in 2 different colors, where they discuss the text they are plagiarizing. And it was handed in without taking those parts out. Talk about amateurs. Student was holding scissors very close to his eyes. When I asked why he was doing this, he responded that he was just trimming his eyelashes. That's all. Said it like it was a completely normal thing to do. 1st grader. Here's to hoping he has a bright future and 2 functioning eyes to see it. Had a kid who liked to fart during class to get attention. Would do it multiple times a class period until one day he pushed too hard and crapped his pants. Never did it again. Test, class, and gas. Only one did he pass. I caught some junior high students putting big rocks in the toilet bowl. Later, they were summoned before the principal and sacrificed. One of my 2nd graders was trying to eat his own shoe. Wonder if it gave him the runs. Not a teacher, but one guy in our class in high school picked up a floor tile and dropped it on another student's head who happened to sit right in front of the teacher. The teacher just let out a long sigh and said, "Are you a fucking idiot? Go to the office." Was the other kid okay? No, it sounded like he got floored. Had a student crumble up his test out of frustration, put it in his coat pocket he was wearing, and asked to take a walk. Nah bro. Not a teacher but in class, I think it was grade 2, I saw this one kid crack open 3 glow sticks and drink the liquid. He's done a lot of other stupid things but this is one of his highlights. Maybe he just wanted a light snack. I had a kid stick a paper clip into an outlet. He flew out of his chair and blew out the circuits of a wing of the school. 10th grade. Edit. This isn't even the dumbest thing. It's just what popped into my head last night. I had one strip the wires of a broken cell charger, plug it in, and short the entire lab bench. I didn't reset it at the breaker until he and his buddies had spent the entire semester assigned to that bench. Oh, you need electricity? Sounds like you should talk to Travis. Resetting the breaker took 2 minutes. I'll let them think they had seriously damaged the electrical supply. Not a teacher, but my sister knew a kid who ate one of those dinosaur sponge things, pill-shaped thingy, during lunch as a joke. He got very sick. Oh, last month, during 9th period, I watched a boy I hated eat the inside of a highlighter. He went to the hospital. Both of these kids were in high school. One kid was throwing candy on the floor, the other was hoovering it up with their mouth. High school students on a noticeably dirty floor. I thought that was the 1st grade. The fuck is a teenager thinking? As a former high school student, we don't really think. I caught a kindergartner hiding under the desk pooping on his backpack. Why? I would understand in easier cleanup. Kid turned in handwritten science report as part of final project and was failed for plagiarism upon receipt. Next day kid I'm called to principal's office and find kid with parents demanding to know how I could fail their child without even reading the paper. I really enjoyed the look on the mom's face when she saw her kid's paper. That was a hand copied wiki page complete with image tiles and footnote numbers. My first year teaching 5th grade was 1988, well before students had access to the internet for research. Kids used books, encyclopedias, etc. I've assigned them a report on any famous national landmark in the US. I taught them how to find the interesting parts they like from different sources and, of course, told them not to just copy everything word for word. One of my students got up in front of the class and read her report. She began, "The Statue of Liberty, see above, is one of the most famous landmarks in the world." I'm not a teacher, but I remember a teacher of mine playing a trick on a kid that had chewing tobacco in his mouth in class. I suppose I would have been a junior in high school at the time. The dude was holding in his spit and had a spitter he could use, but it would be super obvious if the teacher was facing him. So the teacher noticed him and started engaging him in questions and not turning her back to the board. He kept nodding and pretending to agree or disagree until she eventually asked him a question that required a spoken answer. By this time, he had a full mouthful of chew spit. He swallowed the whole dip and all the spit and answered the question. Her response was, "I bet you won't do that again, will you?" To his credit, he didn't dip in class again. The whole class knew what the teacher was doing, and they knew he had a big dip in. We all thought it was hilarious. It's easy to swallow a piece of illicit chewing gum. Much harder to swallow tobacco. In my last year teaching, I worked with high school freshmen. I had them working in groups one day and noticed smoke puffing up from a group on the opposite side of the classroom. I blinked hard, no longer saw smoke, and figured I was just seeing things. A minute later, I see smoke again, and 3 students at that table staring right at me. I go in for a closer look, just in time to catch a young lady hiding her vape pen. I email an assistant principal to come up to my room because a student is vaping in class, and she responds, "LOL, seriously?" I was teaching my 4th grade class one year when suddenly a cell phone starts ringing. This was probably 10 years ago, so it was not at all common for a 4th grader to have one, let alone to have it start ringing in class. It was the first time that happened to me as a teacher, so I stopped class and asked who had a cell phone. Everyone is shaking their heads, looking around, trying to find where it's coming from. Suddenly, one of the chubbier boys in my class figured out it's him, stands up, and shouts, "Oh no, I have my sister's pants on by mistake. She's gonna kill me." I once took a note from a boy and a girl who were passing it back and forth. I shoved it in my pocket and continued my lesson. I completely forgot about it until later that day when I felt something scratchy. Read the note. I usually don't, but this one I did, and it was a negotiation for the cost of a blowjob. He wanted to give her $10, but she wanted $100. He argued it would be an honor to suck him off and maybe she should be paying him. By the time I took the note, the price was down to $97.50. I believe the 50 cents was a waste removal fee. Since I totally don't get paid enough to deal with this kind of shit, I called the counselor and let her deal with it. Note that I have a file of such stories and inappropriate student work. I'll publish a book when I retire. I've only been a high school teacher for 15 years, but that folder is impressively thick. Only 20 more years to go to add to it. How much will I charge for the book? Not sure yet, but I will make sure it ends with 50 cents. Edit. Spelling mistake. Embarrassing as a teacher. One time I had a student, 2nd grade, who was constantly getting out of his seat and running around. I got fed up and told him to glue himself to his seat. He decided to take it literally. Maybe I was the stupid one here. Another time a student tried to tell me that his real name was Blaze. 1st grade. Edit. So apparently Blaze isn't that rare of a name. I knew it wasn't his name, since the attendance sheet, name card, his backpack, and other teachers all gave evidence to the contrary. Not a teacher, but in 8th grade, 2 kids fucked in the middle of the fucking hallway. Well, it sounds like they were using the fucking hallway for its intended purpose. Was a teacher. Had this asshole kid who would show once or twice a month. Due to his performance plan made by the school, whenever he showed I had to let him be in the class, even though it was always a disruption. I had to make work packets to send with him. They were a lot of work to make, and he never did the work. One day he strolled in with chewing tobacco in his lip. He had a bottle of lemonade in one hand and an empty bottle for spitting in the other. School was tobacco free, but rules didn't apply to him. I sat silently as he disrupted the students around him, spitting in the spit bottle, then taking a drink of lemonade. Not paying attention, He spits into the lemonade. I know what's coming next. Watching with absolute glee, he takes a big drink from the tobacco spit bottle. He instantly starts swearing and gagging, runs out of the room to the bathroom and doesn't return. Best day of my teaching career. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Don't forget to leave your stories in the comments below.